call the regular meeting, Cameron Planning. We'll call the special meeting at Cameron Planning and Zoning to order on Monday, June the 21st at 5:04 in the evening. First order of business would be the minutes of the May 10th, 2021 meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes? Hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes as written.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Public participation? Anyone, see no one here for public participation, other than what we have? Starting with old business, just an update on Weston Estates and Green Ridge subdivision. Tim?
All right, last week met with the developer out on site to basically check off some of the items on that checklist. Some of the remaining items were leveling the right of way, which that's been completed. We did a walkthrough to look at the detention ponds to see what else was needed or what was completed. They got the flare-in sections in, the concrete spillway in. There's still a little bit more grading work to do on it, but they are moving along. It looks great. So I think that is moving forward, working with the surveyor, with the as-bills and the final plat. Hopefully I have some good positive news for Debbie soon and the Manions on that development. And that should be it for the update on Weston Estates. As far as Green Ridge subdivision, we are still,
I haven't had time.
we're still working on that problem or project, I should say, not problem. So that's all the update I have for both those subdivisions right now.
Okay. Anybody else from the board, any old business?
I just will say that to our knowledge, Manion's knowledge, the city now has everything in their hands they need 100%. We're just waiting on them to review the file.
Okay.
We hope to know that tomorrow.
And then
He's
on-
smiling.
And then on Green Ridge, did we ever decide if that map that was selected, if they get Farrell to do that?
Well, I think it's their decision. Debbie's, aren't you still working on that? So the ball is in their court.
Gotcha, but if they accept to do that,
We would take it to our third party, stormwater, tell them what the situation is and try to make it work.
okay.
And on that subdivision, I see there's been some grading on one of those spots. What's that?
On Short Street, we issued 2 building permits. That was phase 1 to build duplexes on Short Street.
Okay.
So that's it.
Okay.
On the, if I could just ask a question on Weston Estates then, so if the city staff has everything and you're waiting for it, we should be able to do that quickly, but then don't we want to bring it back to this board for a special meeting as fast as we can?
That's what we're waiting on to find out if you guys have everything you need. If you do, we're Manion's are ready as soon as you guys can be ready.
And I think the city council was willing to have a special meeting as well. You know, we could do that at 5 o'clock on some afternoon just to vote on that so we can move that forward. And then that would start the maintenance bond. We could do that in a week.
Okay.
Will they do that? Can they do that all in one?
Yeah, they can
one
read it
night?
twice.
2 readings in
Yeah.
one night?
You know, unless somebody has some objection. If someone has some objection, it seems like we're trying to sneak something by the public by ramming it through. Well, you don't want to do that, but in this case, we would do it because we're not trying to hide anything. We just want to be able to move the process forward, not wait another 2 weeks on being able to get occupancy permits issued.
Okay. Okay. New business, 2301 North Walnut.
Okay, I'm gonna call the construction director right now because I want to put him on the phone, make sure he's here. His name is Mike Harris. He was on some previous Zoom calls when we did the dispensary, so I'm just calling him to get him up to speed. He's with Bloom Medicinal. He's a construction director. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir.
All right, we started our meeting and we're at the point on the agenda to talk about new business for the cultivation shop from Bloom.
Okay.
All right, again, this is Mike Harris with Bloom Medicinal. He's the director of construction, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm just about to introduce your information to the board. They all have a copy of the site plan. If they have any questions, I will direct those questions to you and allow you the opportunity to answer those questions, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, and you guys' packets, you should have received information for 2301 North Walnut, the site plan for Bloom cultivation. We do have a new plotter, so we used it, so you guys got actual blueprints. Joke. So, but this is an existing site for Bloom Medicinal. You guys, you well may know that they're doing the dispensary on the southern portion of Walnut. This project is to the north portion, the Old Eagan's furniture building. This is an existing site. They're doing renovation, or proposing to do renovation on the inside of the building. And there's some minor changes to the outside of the building itself. This is a CMP district. City staff has reviewed it. Didn't have any issues. One thing I like to call out on the plans, there's going to be fencing security for security purpose for their employees while they're, in operation or at work. Other than that, it's like I said, it's an existing site, no minor changes outside of the actual construction portion. So,
How many employees are they? I mean, do we know the parking spaces and everything gonna?
right now, I think they're gonna employ 15 employees, right, Mike?
Yes, sir.
Just 15. And I believe, I looked at the calculations for the requirement, I think they were required less than 15, so they're doing more than what they're required.
As far as the number of spaces,
We don't have, this is not like dispensaries where we have clientele, customers coming in.
Yes.
no retail.
Yeah, yeah,
The employees.
correct.
No, that's fine. I figured it was probably labor intensive, and I just wanted to make sure we had enough spaces for the employees that were gonna be there.
That was Mark Gardner, one of the board members, and also Stan Hendricks, a board member, was asking a question about the parking.
Any other questions from the board? The chain link fence, does it have security across the top, the wire, razor wire?
I believe they, at one time, they called out the razor wire, and we said they couldn't do it, but I think they can do it. Yeah, the question was from Michael Dunn on the board chair about the razor wire security fencing, where you guys gonna have that installed, correct, Mike?
That is correct.
Okay.
And I'm sure,
And, in this, it may seem like this something that may be overkill, but, in the total locations, we have experienced a robbery. One location, it was over $2 million, so we wanna make sure that, the product, and even though we won't carry cash there, at the same time, we wanna make sure that, first and foremost, our employees, their product.
Okay. Thanks, Mike.
And we don't need to worry about any water retention.
No, because it is an existing site, there is no stormwater required.
Okay.
If they were changing the green space to hard surface, then yes.
Okay.
And what happens if they do future development, then they have to, correct?
If they expand out, that was Debbie Glenn, a board member, asked a question about the future development. I did fail to say that this is doing, the first part is phase one, and then they're gonna do phase two within the building itself.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's another 20,000 square feet, which is the building.
Okay.
Doesn't expand the footprint of the building.
No.
yep. Any other questions?
Okay. Mike, there's no further questions? Any questions from the, all right. No further questions, Mike. Just wait for the board to make a decision.
Okay, when will we have, the results of this?
Right now.
You can't make the motion, but you can stay for the motion.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll make the motion that the site plan be approved as presented.
I'll second.
Motion is second, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Motion carried, Mike. You got anything else for the board? If not, I'll let you go.
Well, no, just thank you guys.
All right, well, have a good one. All right, Mike.
Tim, you want these back?
You can keep them if you want.
Does he wait?
No, those are,
You made them, so we could keep.
yeah,
Is that the both ends?
yep. And we had it serviced,
Good.
and it works good.
Good.
They barely used it, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, item 2, or item B, is a lot split at 217 North Chestnut.
Yes, you guys also should have received in your packets information regarding 217 North Chestnut. That property is zoned central commercial, misspelling on the agenda. That applicant is Bill Beckett. He was supposed to be here tonight. Basically, he's splitting a portion of that property and sold it off to the new Bohut individual owner, property owner. In that particular zone district, there is no minimum requirement for lot size. So if you can look at the diagram, Lot 2A is 5,260 square feet, and Lot 2B is 1,803 square feet. So, like I said, that does not require a minimum square footage for a lot split.
He's just separating the bow hut from the other building houses.
Yes.
And do we inspect those buildings too?
Yes, we should. I mean, it's part of the business license.
Do we expect, yes, we should.
It's part of the business license requirement for
Okay.
us to inspect those buildings.
But that's out of our-
Yes.
It's kind of tight in here, but it seems kind of like a natural thing to do because those two have been separate for so long.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Does anybody see a problem with it? Mike, do you have any problems with that?
No, I mean, it's C1, zone C1, there's no setback requirements, no off-street parking requirements, not anything of that nature. It's all it is splits it.
And there's two separate buildings, so it
Yeah.
actually makes sense for them not to be together, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the northern portion is some kind of clinic or something.
Yeah, there's a family guy, it's not family, is it family
Yeah,
guy?
something like that.
Something like that.
I still think of it as Ada's Fashions.
Yeah, there's no problem at all with the split. No. Any other questions from the board? Hearing none, I entertain a motion from the board.
I make a motion for the lot split.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
I will get official copies from Northland Surveying with their stamp and seal on it, so I'll track Mike and Stan, you guys now get signatures on it.
No other new business, just miscellaneous.
Consideration for board appointments. I talked to Tom Hamlet and George Pratt about their interest in reserving on the board. I believe both of those guys, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, you're more than willing to be on the board for
I'm
another.
always willing to turn over the new blood, though.
Yeah.
All right.
But I'm glad to serve
Okay.
if you want.
Yes.
Cross not doing campaigning or.
Could I make a note on that, please?
Yes.
The council, and members of the Policy and Procedure Committee were interested in addressing how board members are appointed. And so they did this in committee, and so we asked if they would come back and talk to all of the boards. And of course, the boards are very concerned about how those members are appointed as well. So what we were asking then is if the board president or representative of each board could meet with the Policy and Procedures Committee, and we will have that meeting, so all of you there then can share your concerns with the city council and that committee. And the way the code works, and I hope the city attorney would be able to be here, but he had to leave for a family emergency a few minutes ago, but the mayor makes the appointment with the advice and consent of the council. So, you know, how you figure that advice and consent out is kind of what they're talking about right now. And what you'd hope is that the council and the committee are all kind of in agreement before that could go to the mayor then for the appointment. But that remains to be seen as to how we'll work that out. And I'm sure that when the committees meet with the policy and procedure, we'll work something out that'll be compatible for everybody. But I just want to let you know that was out, and nothing's going to happen there until everybody gets together and can meet and work something out.
It requires consent now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong, Mike? This board, you would send a recommendation, I'll use Tom as example, and so let's say you send Tom as a recommendation right now, the city council votes on it, right?
Well, what would happen is the mayor would make.
But right now, they vote on it, correct?
Yes, the mayor makes the appointment, the council votes on it. The question is, how does those names get to the mayor to make that appointment? And right now, essentially what happens is we get that from the committees who make that
Well,
recommendation.
they advertise it, and then they get the applicants to the committee. Committee reviews it and makes their recommendation to city council, and then the mayor makes the
Yeah,
appointment.
and nobody knows their own committee better than your chairman of each committee. So
Sure.
that makes total sense.
Thanks for providing all you guys' comments. All those comments have been forwarded to Shelley, and Shelley's going to forward it to the committee.
Okay, so we have two board members that are up for renewal, Tom Hamlet and George Pratt. Both of them have said that they would serve another term. Does the board want to make a recommendation to the city council to appoint Tom Hamlet and George Pratt to the planning and zoning board for another term?
I would be glad to make that recommendation.
Glad to second that.
I'll be glad to vote yes.
That motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Wait before they change their mind.
And they'll have to fill out an application, so you'll get that paperwork.
Yep, I'll get that application from those candidates. It is to Shelley.
Okay. Is there any other miscellaneous from the board? Tim?
No.
Steve?
Well, thank you.
Interesting to see the new work on the building at their Third and Chestnut. I haven't kept up on what's going on that, but it looks like the old movie scene from Jesus Christ Superstar with all the scaffolds up and about 12 guys working everywhere. And
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, I think just,
I wonder, are they doing anything structurally, or are they just adding more weight to it?
Well, it ain't much weight because they're using styrofoam, which is putting a nice snowy looking covering on my grass.
Oh, there you
Down
go.
at police park.
There you go.
Yeah. We did have our citywide cleanup, what, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
2 weekends ago. That went pretty good. We had about 115 cars go through, several cars made multiple trips. I think we had about 8 trash dumpsters. You know, we were able to compact them as people were bringing in the trash. We had required 2 forms of ID, and that went pretty smooth.
Was it more or less than the previous year?
I would say it was less, but more city people that actually dump the city trash.
No.
So.
And then the following week, when you drove around town, you saw the people who realized they screwed up and missed it. Their recliners and their old tables
Oh,
and 3
yeah.
bags and.
Just have one pick up any of that.
two, I think, talking to Paul, that Randy Kernos would probably open up the 1st of July. They're close to getting
Yeah,
completed.
that will be coming back to planning and zoning, because they changed the site plan, just adding the right of way portion. We do have Love's plat and site plan. You know, they're gonna try to shoot both, gonna try to shoot for next month's meeting.
Well, can we do when we do the emergency meeting for
Are they that ready?
Canyons?
Well, I don't know, I'm still waiting to hear back from our third-party trans system on
That'd be
Randy
great
Curno.
if we try.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we get names in this week.
Okay.
Yeah, we can see where it's at.
Okay. All I'm thinking is time's of the essence of both projects.
Yeah, yeah.
Randy Curno's, it really won't make any difference, because he'll be able to go ahead and open up with what he
Yeah.
has.
Only thing he's changed is pretty much is the parking lot.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
on Love's, I talked to Paul the other day, and they're wanting to start fairly quickly,
Moving dirt.
moving dirt,
Yeah.
so.
That's the reason why I'm wondering if we can't do like the Canyons and those.
Yeah, whatever works for you guys.
They, you know, and they can start moving dirt if they want, it's just that the site plan we have to approve before they get into the nuts and bolts of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of clearing off there to do
Yeah.
before they, so, but we can, I mean, if you guys are done, I mean,
They got all the documents in, might as well.
Okay.
any other business? Hearing none, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.